Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial. I'm in my kitchen today. It's very cold and damp outside, so I'm here with Eva. She's over here, let me show you. Big wave.
Hi.
Eva's going to be doing her thing there on her computer. She's just messing around, she's watching YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And building things. She likes to build things. On Bloxburg, so she's very good at the PC. She's getting very good. Right, I have my stuff set up here in the kitchen because it's quite cold and damp outside. We had a storm and everything is wet and damp and cold, so it's pretty cold in the studio. So I'm going to do it on my kitchen table here. I have everything set up, my little box with paints, I have my palette. I basically just have a table easel. Let me show you, okay? With this big plank of timber across it, and on the front of that I have my palette and my canvas then, okay? Very big canvas. It's 24 by 18 inches. I'm going to do a lovely snow scene for the top of my stairway upstairs. Some lovely subtle colours. I have a big blank wall up there and I want something to cover it. So I'm going to do a nice snow scene this week. It's going to be lovely, I hope. So this is my camera on the tripod. I have brushes and all sorts of stuff here next to me. So yeah, that's it. Something nice this week, and I'm going to take my time painting this week. I'm really going to take my time. It may be a two-part tutorial. So yeah, I just want to get into some nice detail with the trees and the shadows on the snow, that kind of thing. So yes, let's go and have a bit of fun. Grab your stuff. I hope you like it. Right, here we go. There's a reference photograph up there. Isn't that just wonderful? A lovely snow scene. It has lovely subtle colours. I really love the light catching across the snow here. I think it's wonderful. So I'm going to paint that, and I have a lovely spot upstairs waiting for this. So now I'll tell you my colours. I have titanium white, phaylo blue, naples yellow, cadmium yellow, some burnt sienna, I may not need it, some crimson, some black, some cobalt blue also, just in case, some I burnt umber, cobalt blue, black and cadmium red. Again, I might not need cadmium red, but just in case, it's there anyway. Right, my brushes, lots of small flat brushes. I have my green stubby brush here, my large, my medium, and a small one as well. Okay, so I'll probably start with my large stubby just to get the sky in, and the sky is very simple from dark to light gradient. Very, very simple to do. I'm thinking phaylo blue would be perfect for this because it has a slightly kind of a greeny hue to the sky, doesn't it? If you don't have phaylo, you could use cobalt blue with a hint of naples yellow as well. I'm going to use phaylo blue with naples yellow for this and some white. So nice and simple, starting off with a nice kind of a greeny ocean kind of a blue on top, coming down then to kind of a naples yellowy, whitey kind of a colour at the bottom. Nice and simple, let's give it a go. Let's dampen our brushes with some turpentine. Look, in here I have turpentine with a few drops of linseed oil, okay? So what I do is, I soak the brush like this, okay? And I soak off the excess onto a tissue, just quickly like that. So it's not really, really wet. Let's take some white. I'll start with some white. And as soon as you go into white, it starts getting very, very thick, again, very, very quickly. So I want to add some turpentine to this. Again, I'll dip in just with the corner of the brush and take up a little at a time, okay? So don't go crazy too early on. And then I'll take some phaylo blue, and that's a very strong colour, so be careful. You only need a tiny little amount, you see? You see how blue that's gone now already, very, very quickly. And I'm going to give all of this a really good mix now. The consistency I want is a kind of a cream out of the tub. That kind of, not a whipped cream, but a really thick kind of a double cream consistency. Now I'm getting it right out of the brush, you see, mixing it all the way through. And I'm going to go a little bit darker, so a little bit more phaylo blue. And then, to get that kind of greenish hue, I'm going to take a hint of naples yellow. And that naples yellow will give the phaylo blue a nice opaque feel as well, so it's not translucent. And you can see it's going kind of a hint of a greeny kind of a blue. So that's the colour I want. Now that's perfect. I think that's perfect for my sky. And give it a good mix now, alright? Also, before I started, I gave this canvas a rub with just linseed oil and turpentine mixed together. So I went over it very quickly like this. Left it dry. It's dry now, but that will help with soakage, and it will help prevent the paint from soaking right through the canvas very quickly, and it will give me a lovely smooth consistency to work on, okay? Now look at that. You see how that's going across my canvas now wonderfully there. It's pretty similar to using, I suppose, liquid clear, but the difference is liquid clear will sit on the canvas, whereas this, my linseed oil with turpentine, soaked into the canvas. So it's a dry canvas, but when the paint goes onto the canvas then, it kind of unlocks the oil in the canvas and it makes it lovely and smooth to work on. The brush kind of glides across lovely, you see. And there's very little paint on this now as well. There's not a huge amount of paint on this. It's a very thin layer, okay? So let's just go along. I want to go up here as well. And I'm going to paint around the sides of the canvas as well, because of the fact that this is going to be hanging upstairs. I think it's probably a good idea just to give the sides a quick coat of that blue as well. Look, that's very, very quickly. Okay. Let's lighten it as it comes down, so more turpentine, more white, and a little hint of phaylo blue, a little hint of naples yellow, and I'm going to be going with more naples yellow in this now as it comes down, okay? So I'm picking up more white, adding more turpentine, because every time you add white to the mix, it thickens it right up. So then I will kind of pick up a tiny drop of turpentine, there you go. More naples yellow, and now we have a lovely soft colour, you see. It's a very light kind of a turquoisey colour. It's kind of difficult to explain the exact colour, but it's a very light kind of a turquoisey kind of a colour. No, that was just my chair, don't worry. It's a noisy little chair. I need to get wheels on this chair. There we are. And then I keep coming down now with this. I may darken the top yet, just a little bit, but I just keep coming down with this lighter colour from now. So naples yellow, some white, and a hint of blue, just a little tiny hint of blue. I want to mix up a decent bit of this now to cover all of this canvas here. Double star with my horizon line, okay? I just did a quick sketch of horizon line, the kind of the pathway here, and a very light hint of where those trees are up in the distance. So I'm going to go right across now with this. Fill that sky right in. And then you can see there's kind of a yellowy colour. So all I'm going to do very simply is start adding more naples yellow to the mix. Okay, nice and simple. Let me dampen the brush again. Take more white. Take plenty of naples yellow this time. And I come right down, I go past my trees right down to my horizon line, I think. And let me get more naples yellow now, lots of naples yellow in this. And go right across the end with your naples yellow. And I'm not going to put clouds in the sky because it's a nice subtle kind of a snow scene, isn't it? I think clouds might spoil it. We have lots of trees with lots of I won't say foliage, but lots of little twigs and branches going on. So I will leave it at that. Now, more naples yellow. Soften that right in there now with your brush all the way across. Bring it up slightly. Now, let me just sit back and take a quick look at this. I'm happy enough with that. I may add a bit more naples just in the centre and down low. There's a nice kind of a yellowy glow. I won't say yellowy, but it's a warm glow in the sky or in the distance. So just at the end, with no turpentine, look, I'm putting naples yellow on its own onto the canvas directly, and I'm going mixing it then in on the canvas. There's a wonderful kind of glow, there really is. Now I think that's fine, I'm happy enough with that. So I will next start on my trees, and I'm just thinking now, the trees off in the distance are kind of a sort of a grey-brown kind of a colour. I'm thinking I might just switch brushes. I go to a slightly smaller brush, perhaps my medium stubby, okay? And I'm going to mix a colour for this now. I mixed this colour before and it was perfect. If I remember correctly, it was burnt umber. So I'm thinking now a dry brush. Let me think now, what colour did I use? I'm going to go with black. I'm going to try a black, okay? A little black. No, not too much. And some white. Okay. A little tiny touch of turpentine, I think, just to soften that a little. And I know I want to go very light with this one, rubbing some of that off, look, onto my tissue. And I'm going to add more white into that. Then I'm going to add some Naples yellow. A good dollop of Naples yellow. And I'm thinking that colour might be the right colour for those distant trees. Now plenty of Naples, okay? And I think that's probably the colour that I need. I think it might be, you know. So we have very kind of a warm browny kind of a grey. So Naples yellow with black and plenty of white. Now let me try it. So I'll start in the centre around here. Okay, and I'm just going to put them in very loosely like this, okay? And they kind of disappear off then, don't they? And I come right across the bottom, and I go right across the bottom here as well. I'll take it all off my brush, look. And I can see a hint of warmth in those as well. So I'm going to take a hint of sienna. I think I'll try a hint of sienna as well. That's quite a nice warm grey. You see, it's giving us a lovely warm sort of a grey. And I'm going to go along the top of these then, and just put my soft, medium stubby brush, just dab very gently. So then they're going to almost disappear off into the distance. And then go right along with this one as well. Now would you like me to zoom in? So you can see what I'm doing better. I think I should zoom in just on this kind of section. Okay, just a moment. Let me zoom the camera. Just ever so slightly. There. That's better now, isn't it? There we go. Right. Now, as I was doing, going right along like that, and just fill that all in, all the way across. We have then, I'm going to start adding a little hint of burnt umber into this. So it just gets slightly darker now as it kind of comes in to the centre. I'm going to put another piece here. I'll go up a little bit higher with that, but I'm going to leave a little gap in the middle. Quite a nice little gap in there. And then come along, and again just dab here and there. Just to sort of let that foliage disappear out. So it's not just a solid line that you have then, you see. Let it sort of disappear off and dissipate into the sky behind. Okay? Now, bring that down. And I'm working on a stretched canvas, by the way. It's a 24 by 18 stretched canvas. So let me just take a quick look on with that. Right, that's not bad. So I'm now going to start adding some darker tones into this. So I'm just going to go with my burnt umber and go into this darker colour that I mixed earlier, the kind of a blacky grey colour. I'm going to start adding some of that from the bottom up. I'm going to start working from the bottom up. So let's get some burnt umber with some black. And I'm going to start going in here like this. You see? I'm just kind of, I'm leaving the top sections there so that they kind of disappear off into the distance. Now a little bit more black. Okay, there we go, like that. Bring it across, and it will kind of vary. You'll have slightly lighter sections and slightly darker sections, okay? So now you can kind of begin to see it's coming forward, the darkness is coming forward slightly. Let's go over here. I might take some burnt umber actually in this. I think that would look quite nice. A nice dark burnt umber. And then soften that right across. I'll just give my brush a quick clean there, okay? I'll just give it a really nice clean. Because I don't want too much paint building up on my brush. I want to keep it nice and sort of relatively kind of clean between mixes. So I have just a little paint on this now, very, very little, you see? Just on the tip of the brush really. And I'm just going to soften right along there now as I go. And I will start making it quite darker as it comes down. So then I'll give it a wipe and I will take some black. So a lot of black, and I just kind of go along here and there, little, and suggest just very dark sections down at the very bottom of those trees there, okay? So just kind of picking out little areas. It's just an impression as well, by the way. I'm just going for an impression. Go up here. And then what I'm going to do is give that a quick dip into my turpentine and just give it a good clean there. Look, get most of that off. Then what I'm going to do is take some, with my dry brush, take some sienna. And I'm going to take some Naples yellow. And with that, just on the tip of the brush, look, I'm going to go along and just add little touches of that here and there. So imagining that the light, now the light is coming from left over to right. So I'm going to imagine that this is sort of catching, maybe add a hint of yellow or a hint of white into that. So Naples yellow with white and a hint of sienna. And let's just imagine the light is sort of catching some of those there, okay? Just very kind of gently and very subtly catching some of those bushes here and there. And let me pick up some more and put another little bit across here. Okay. And I put a little hint of it across the very top of some of these bushes, like so. Now I want to keep it kind of simple as well. I don't want to go into too much detail with some of this. Yeah, that's not bad. I might just darken with some burnt umber, a little burnt sienna, and some black. I might just go along and perhaps just darken little areas, just again along the front here, okay? Let's go along, I just want to kind of capture that darkness up there. There's a very nice darkness. Okay, that's fine. That will do fine. Next job, give this brush a quick clean. And I'm going to use the same brush now and put in some of the snow up here. And the snow, if you look at it, it's quite a yellowy kind of a colour. Dare I say it? So there's a lot of Naples yellow in the snow, I can see. So let me just dampen my brush, give it a quick dry, okay? Let's take some Naples yellow. And let's take lots of white. And I may take just the tiniest hint of this kind of grey here, just the tiniest hint. Because I want to bring the grey down into the snow, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to just pull it across now like this, right? You can see that? So I want to kind of initially I want to use the same colours. All the way through the painting, because that will help. That will always help with your composition. So if I used a completely different colour on the snow, it would probably look funny by comparison to the rest of the painting. So using similar colours throughout, I find, brings everything together, ties it together nicely. So some Naples yellow, some white, and I may add a hint of cadmium red. Just the smallest little hint, okay? And you can see it's a very subtle kind of peach. It's almost like a peachy kind of a colour, isn't it? Now I'm going to kind of soften here and there, soften that up into that line up there, okay? Because I want it to almost kind of disappear here and there. You see? And as well as that, when I'm using these brushes, it picks up. So if I go across here, right, I pick up a little piece of that dark colour and I bring it down then, you see? And it's creating very kind of natural shadows. So that's why I go up into those trees as well. You see? Creating little subtle shadows here and there on the snow as well. And it's just very natural, isn't it? It's very natural looking. It's not a very sharp line, and that's not what you want. You don't want a very sharp line, so you want to kind of soften it together very gently here and there, you see? And this will be very difficult with acrylics, because acrylics will dry very quick. But you can use mediums to help to slow the drying with the acrylics. I just love the oils for this reason. You know, they give you that freedom. Now, I'm going to start putting in one or two trees, little trees off in the distance. So I have my very fine pointy little brushes. I'm going to go with this one, it's a size 1. Okay. And this may even be too strong, too thick. Burnt umber, sorry, my apologies. Burnt sienna with a little of that blacky colour again. So again, not very, very dark. And I'm going to just suggest some little trees here and there, just going up. Okay, let me just dampen it just a little. I pick up a little bit of darker colour, because initially what happened was the colour kind of disappears into that wet background, so then I will just go a little bit darker, you see, and that will allow me to put this thick paint on top of that kind of thin colour that's already there. Okay, we have a couple of nice trees in the distance. I just create some very loose branches on this, okay? Now let me just see, can you see all of this properly, yes? Let me just take a look at the camera and make sure that you can see everything nice and clearly. Okay, I might zoom in again just a little bit to show you the trees, okay? There. That's a bit better now, isn't it? So, with my little pointy brush, I will take some burnt umber, and I'll go with some burnt umber in a couple of them. And look, you don't have to copy the photograph exactly, you can just put a couple of little flicks here and there, look. Just to simulate and just to suggest trees off in the distance, do you know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean, don't you? Let's put one or two kind of slightly thicker ones. Okay, and I will then suggest little hints of snow on some of those, okay, just a few, and that will separate those in from the background, you see. So I'll take a hint of white with a hint of Naples yellow. Okay, just a little hint, and with the corner of my brush, look, you can see the way my brush is kind of splayed out. That's why I love these little soft synthetic brushes. They give you a beautiful feeling for snow, you see, and just very gently dab that here and there. Bearing in mind the canvas is quite wet already, so don't go too much in the same area, because it'll just disappear. So you can see what I mean? Just little dabs of suggestions of snow here and there. Just with the corner of the brush, you see? Very, very subtle. That's enough. I think I'll leave it at that. My next step now, you see, as I'm coming down the canvas, in fact, what I might do is suggest a hint of light on one or two of those trees. So with some naples yellow and white, look, a hint of light here and there. Just like that, okay? Very simple. Then I will take a small flat brush. I have a number 6 flat, okay? And it's dry, I don't need to wet it, I don't think. I'll take some white and a little naples yellow, and I'm going to just sort of cut in front of them here and there, just creating another layer of snow, that's all. And that will sort of sit the trees down as well. You see that? Very kind of subtle. Just some white, little hint of naples yellow. And as well, I'm kind of giving the painting some more texture at the same time. And one very important thing we need to do is to give those trees a little shadow. So a little bit of the grey colour that we used earlier, and just pull a little bit of that off, you see? Just like so. Off to the right hand side. And you can even soften them off with your finger as well, look. There. Now, isn't that lovely? We have a lovely little scene already off in the distance, don't we? And it's coming on really, really lovely. Now, I'm going to start adding some slightly warmer colours to this as it comes down. So I'm going to just again take my medium stubby brush, some titanium white, some naples yellow, and a little hint of cadmium red. So I think I might zoom back again on for this, just to show you in better. There we go. And you can see me mixing then as well, alright? Now I think I can bring it down a little. I don't need to show you the sky. There. Perfect, isn't it? Now, let's take some naples yellow, some white, and some cadmium red, okay? Again, some turpentine, nice and creamy. And I'm going to go right across now with this it's a very warm, eye-catching kind of a colour. Now it is going to be tricky getting all these kind of shadows in the front down here, but look, we're doing 2 parts, so there's no hurry whatsoever. Let me soften some of those off in the distance there, just a little. And okay, let me see. I could start with my small brush, I could start putting in the pathway, I think. So for that, for the shadowy colours, I might use, let's kind of experiment here now, let's kind of have a look. I can see a kind of a mauvey colour way off there in the distance. I don't know why, but I can. When I look at the reference photograph, just around here I can see a kind of a mauve. So some crimson, some phaylo blue, and lots of white, okay? Now it's a mauve, but there's a hint of this kind of grey in it as well. So I think that grey will help, again, help with the composition and kind of tie in those colours with the rest of the photograph, as you can see. So let me take a nice mauve kind of a grey, alright? Let's just try this. Okay, I need to go a bit darker than that. And I just want to pick out the footpath. Just, well, it's not a footpath, it's just tracks where people were walking through the snow. That's all it is, it's just tracks. Now I'll just go down like this just for now, just to get the initial sort of the shape of the footpath, alright? And I might then pick up a little bit of the black, a little bit of the blue. I might just kind of darken it here and there, just a little. Maybe a little hint of the pink. There we go. I'm just kind of incorporating some of the colour of the sky into this. It's tricky to explain. It's kind of a greeny, pale greeny, kind of a bluey, sort of a shadowy colour kind of coming across. We take a hint of brown in that. You see what I mean? I'm kind of incorporating the same colours that are in the sky. Let me go across, just pull it across like this. And I'm not making a completely straight line. It's because of the snow being kind of very up and down, up and down. So I'm going to make that sort of a colour, and that sort of a brush stroke as well, kind of up and down, wiggling it across. You see? Now this is the early stages, okay? We can fix all of this if we need to, so don't worry. Let's give it a little off in the distance as well. Alright, there we go. A little hint more of burnt umber, I'm thinking. Let's just darken that slightly. And then we get down into the crevice where the footprints are, and it's going to get very dark, or much darker then. So a little bit of black, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of pink, and then it's going to get much darker down inside there, okay? Now I just kind of leave it at that for now. I'm going to paint some trees. I know I see one big, very nice looking tree just coming up there. Before I do that though, I want to just create some really bright light on the snow here. I'm going to take some Naples yellow, some crimson, little hint of crimson, and lots of white, okay? Lots and lots and lots of white. Now plenty of Naples yellow in this. I'm going to make it very bright. Again, a kind of a sunlit sort of a colour. So I'm trying to imagine that the sun is out, the sun is catching the landscape here and there. I think more Naples yellow. Plenty of Naples yellow. You see? There now you can see that a bit better, can't you? It's very bright, sunny kind of a colour. There. And that's quite nice, I like that. We have a lot of that colour down here. I love using Naples yellow. It's a fantastic colour to use, and it's very subtle, it's very forgiving as well. So you can get away with a lot with Naples yellow. With cadmium yellow you can't, because with cadmium yellow, if there's a hint of blue anywhere, you will end up with green. So cadmium yellow is not great for this type of a scene. I would maybe use it for some very bright highlights, but certainly not with all of this blue colour going on. Now let me put a hint of light going across the footpath here and there, just little touches of it, okay? Look, just little touches here and there. Okay, there we are. And I'm going to then just create some little bit of banks coming down. A little bit here and there. Little touches of dark, just little touches of dark colour. Just here and there. Go along the middle okay? And you know, you can kind of add to this as you go along. You can make it up as you go along as well. You can add your own little hints of colour here and there. But I'm going to put in really bright colour just on the bank there. It's going up, isn't it? There we go. Okay. Now, we have a nice big tree. I'm happy enough now with this so far. Let's crack on now and get some trees in here, some nice big trees. I'm going to take a nice round brush. I have a... Where is my round stubby brush? I had one, but it's gone. Where? I don't know. I have a couple here, look. We'll try a couple of different kinds of round brushes, yes? Now, I'm going to mix a nice dark colour for this tree here. I'm going to start with, let me see, a damp brush. Let's take some black, I'm thinking just black and burnt umber. I'm going to keep it nice and simple, but nice and strong at the same time, okay? So plenty of turpentine now, look, black and burnt umber. And let's take that on our brush and now let me see, can you see this again? Just want to make sure you can see everything properly. Let me just raise the camera very gently. There we go. Now, so burnt umber and black, and let's pick out this tree here. It's very dark, isn't it? So let's pick that out here and go up. Give it a little wiggle as it goes up. Okay, more turpentine, just make this nice and watery. And then we have another thick piece that kind of comes up like that, doesn't it? And let's go down now and give it a nice big wide trunk at the bottom, you see? Because it has to be supported by a very thick trunk. There we go. Then I'm going to switch brushes. I'm going to go to a smaller one. And let's take some black now with lots of turpentine into that mix. And let's start putting in some nice dark colours on one side. So let's practice now with some twigs and branches and all that kind of stuff, yes? This is the fun part. So let's just go along and give lots of little wiggles, you see, here and there. And we'll go up nice and high now with this one. Right up there into that sky, yes? There we go, that's better now, isn't it? And when painting trees like this, it can be sort of hit and miss. You don't have to paint each brush stroke absolutely perfect. You can put little flicks here and there, you see? Now I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I have a very small pointy brush here. And this will do perfect now for some small, tiny little twigs and branches here and there. Coming on nicely now, isn't it? Our lovely little snow scene. And I hope it's a bit easy for you to follow. I don't want to be making it too complicated, but I want to give you a nice tutorial as well. A really nice one. There we go. Now, so we just keep going like this, adding lots and lots of little branches. I'm trying to form a kind of round, symmetrical kind of a tree like that. There we are. Little small flicks here and there. And then perhaps just at the bottom, give it one or two nice kind of strong ones, just like this, yes? Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take some snowy kind of a colour, so perhaps some of that kind of warm colour we mixed earlier. Let's mix some of it, some white, Naples yellow and a hint of crimson, just a hint. And let's mix a lot of that now, a lot of white in this. And thick paint now on its own. And let's take some of the thick paint and just add a little snow to this tree, okay? Just here and there, look. I'm just going to leave the brush, stick the paint down, look, just leave it sit there on top of the trunk, the branches, you see? Just here and there, a little dab there, a little dab there, a little hint of it there. Perhaps even as we go up higher, we could put a hint of it on some of the branches here and there. It's a little tricky because it's wet into wet, but just remember, lots of thick paint on the tip of your brush, okay? Just lots of it, don't be shy. That's not bad though, is it? Quite nice. And a little snow then gathering up the end of the trunk, just like so. Now we will have a nice shadow coming off of this tree, so I'm going to bring a nice strong shadow. Let's take some phaylo blue, a little hint of the black and a hint of crimson. I'm going to bring a nice strong shadow off of that tree. Just like so, okay? And bring it across and leave it sort of disappear off it. There we go. That's that. Now I'm going to continue on. I'm going to make another colour, another shadowy colour with my little flat brush. So I'm going to take a hint of phaylo blue, a hint of crimson, and I'm going to just follow some of this across the landscape here like that, alright? I may add another hint of crimson just to make it slightly more on the pinky side. I think it might look a little better. And I just want to follow some of these shadows across the landscape, okay? Because they're being cast by trees way off in the distance, over there, okay? Out of the painting, you see. There, okay? That's not too bad now, is it? There we go. Now we do have some nice rows of trees along here too. I'm going to start with, let me just check my camera and see have I got enough time left on the camera, because I don't want to be running out of power. Okay, 45 minutes left on the camera, which is very good. We have a little row of bushes along here, so I'm going to create a ditch along this side, okay? I'm going to take some burnt umber, a little hint of black, and a little hint of white. Okay, simple colour, a grey kind of a brown. And I'm going to create some ditches along here, going up like this at a slight angle, okay? Just like so. And then I just leave it feather off kind of slightly. That's fine for now. Then I'm going to add some light to some of these. So some Naples yellow with some white. I'm going to start adding some light to some of these, look. Just to create some snow on some of those. Now, that's fine. I'm then going to bring my shadow on some of these, kind of over here and sort of through this ditch slightly, kind of almost kind of passing through the ditch here and there, isn't it? You see? And you see the base of these then, you see they were very kind of rough. I'm going to just take a little white and I'm just going to put a little white along and pull some of those out, creating a nice base for them, you see? There. Now, we already have the makings of a nice ditch there, don't we? So I'm then going to start putting in a couple more of these trees up here. I'm going to take some burnt umber, some black, and lots of turpentine, okay? Lots and lots and lots of turpentine. Because you need lots of turpentine for this to go over this slightly thicker paint. So let's go. Burnt umber and black, loads of turpentine. So it's actually almost like a watercolour, not quite, but almost. And let's go up here now and put a couple of these nice big ones in up here. We have 3. 3 is always a nice number, isn't it? For trees and objects, 3 is always a good number. And we have one more. Let's put a slight angle on this one. And that slight angle will kind of force you into the painting. It'll bring your eyes into the painting. Okay, that's fine. I'll switch to another small little pointy brush, and I'm going to add lots more turpentine to my mix and start putting in a couple of branches, kind of just popping out of the bush here and there, you see? They're just kind of popping out. And let's go up here on top of this one and add some branches to these 3. Now, not too many, because we're going to have some foliage on these. There's lots and lots and lots of foliage on this. Okay, just very sort of loosely. Okay, I'm just being very loose now with all of this because I want to put some nice foliage on this. You could stay here and just paint branches for 3 or 4 hours, and I could easily sit here for another 3 or 4 hours painting branches, but for the sake of the tutorial, I know you would probably just get bored of watching me paint branches for hours on end. So I'm just going to cheat and put lots of foliage on these, okay? But yes, by all means, you could just sit there now for a couple of hours and put lots of branches, little twigs and little branches on these trees. No problem whatsoever. Now, let's take a brush. Let's go with, I'll go with a large, okay? I'm going to take my large stubby brush and give it a little clean. I'm going to then take some burnt umber. I think I'll take a hint of white with the burnt umber. I'm not mixing it too much. And I'm going to go up here then and just start adding little hints of foliage, okay, look? Just little hints. Not too much. Just enough to suggest that there's foliage on the trees, okay? Because I'm going to be putting snow over these as well. Alright, yeah, that's not bad. And before I put my white on, I'm going to just take a small pointy brush and I'm going to take some white and put some white on some of those branches there, okay? And we could even put some white along 1 or 2 of these ones, which are kind of growing out of the bush. Okay, and it all helps. All of this now just helps with the composition. Again, just little hints of white on the tip of your brush. Let's give the tree some light on either side, just on the left hand side where the light is coming from. We'll give it some light with some snow, look, okay? I'm just flicking my brush down very gently. Alright, there we go. Isn't that lovely? Let's go up and hit these branches with just some little hints of white again, just here and there. And you can take your time on all of this as well, okay? I'm just kind of rushing. I tend to rush when I do tutorials because I know you'll probably get bored of looking at me all the time just doing the same thing over and over again. So I'm now going to take some white with a little hint of Naples yellow, and I'm going to go up and add little hints of this with the corner of my brush on that tree, okay? And we get some more white, more Naples yellow, and you see, just little dabs of it just here and there. Isn't that lovely? No? Isn't that lovely? Nice, subtle, just nice little subtle dabs of colour. It's just to suggest snow on those trees, that's all. It's just a very loose kind of suggestion, that's all it is. Okay? And we'll have more big trees coming in on the front here as well later on, so not to worry. Let's come down here and add a bit around the front. Okay, and that's it. Now, we could even add a hint of white just here and there on this one as well. And what's happening then is the white is picking up little hints of that brown, and it's making it even nicer. There we are. Okay, done. Now again, I'm going to take a small flat brush and take some white, a little of that Naples yellow, and I'm just going to put some along the front here to help those kind of sit down, alright? And I'm thinking what might be nice as well would be if I took some black on its own, just black, and went in on the dark side of those and added a little hint of that black here and there, okay? I think that would really help. It does, doesn't it? Perhaps a bit on this side of that. And then we'll bring the shadows just of this one here off like that, and we could suggest the shadows from these two as well, like so. Okay, and there we have it. Isn't that coming on lovely? Now I just want to soften just a little bit, just some of this. Just want to soften it out just a little hint, okay? There, that's better.